Hello, this is Slice with Combo of Rocks, bringing you another video deck tech of a deck that we built and have for sale. If you're not familiar with us, we make and sell custom budget EDH decks. These decks are light on the budget, so they may not be optimal or competitive, but they're definitely fun and centered around a central theme that you can build on. So today we have Arcades the Strategist, 1 green, white, blue, which is banned for a 3/5 legendary Elder Dragon with flying and vigilance. Whenever a creature with defender enters under your control, draw a card. Each creature you control with defender assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power and can attack as though it didn't have defender. So yes, this is a defender's deck. This is a deck we've done before, but it's been a while, so I'd like to revisit it, and I had some of the cards, so let's get into it. The Pride of the Whole Clade, 10 and a green for a 2/15 legendary Crocodile Elk Turtle. Costs X less to cast, where X is the total toughness of creatures you control. It does have defender. You can pay 2 blue, give a creature +1/+0. When this deals combat damage to a player, draw cards equal to its toughness and can attack as though it didn't have defender. Semester's End, 3 and a white. Exile any number of creatures or planeswalkers on your next end step. Return them to the battlefield. Creatures enter with an additional 1/1 counter. Planeswalkers with an additional loyalty. There are no planeswalkers in the deck, and this also re-triggers your Arcades enter the battlefield effects if you exile all of your defenders and then bring them back with 1/1 counters. Vault 75 Middle School, 2 white, exile all creatures with power 4 or greater. Next 2, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Dusk and Dawn, 2 white, destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater. Dawn returns all creatures with power 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Lots of creatures with low power in this deck. Fell the Mighty, 4 and a white, destroy all creatures with power greater than target creature's power. There are many creatures with 0 power, and other creatures will all get destroyed with this. Other than that, any other creature with power 0. Wakestone Gargoyle, 3 and a white for a 3/4 defender flying. 1 and a white, creatures with defender can attack as though they didn't have defender. Wall of Reverence, 3 and a white for a 1/6 spirit wall with defender and flying. On your end step, gain life equal to the power of target creature you control. Wall of Mourning, 1 and a white for a 0/4 wall with defender. When it enters, exile a card from the top of your library face down for each opponent you have. On your end step, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, put a card exiled with Wall of Mourning into its owner's hand. Crystal Barricade, 1 and a white for a 0/4 defender, gives you hexproof. Prevent all non-combat damage will be dealt to other creatures you control. Ludovic's Text Subject, 1 and a blue for a 0/3 defender lizard. 1 blue, put a hatchling counter. If there are 5 or more hatchlings, it transforms into a 13/13 lizard horror with trample. Sylvan Caryatid, 1 and a green for a 0/3 with defender and hexproof. Tap it for a mana of any color. On the Trail, 1 and a green. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Lots of good ways to draw cards in this deck. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Azorius Signet, Selesnya Signet, Simic Signet, Talisman of Progress, Talisman of Unity, Talisman of Curiosity. Navigation Orb, this one can grab basic lands or gates. There are some gates in the deck, so this can color fix us. Wildfield Scarecrow, 3 for a 1/4 artifact Scarecrow with defender. You can sack it to search your library for 2 basics, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Shield Wall Sentinel, 4 mana for a 1/3 golem with defender. When it enters, search your library for a creature with defender, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. Walking Up Bulwark, 1 mana 0/3 golem with defender. Pay 2 mana, target creature with defender gains haste, can attack as though it didn't have defender, and assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power, but only as a sorcery. Gleaming Barrier, 2 mana for 0/4 defender wall. When it dies, create a treasure token. Suspicious Bookcase, 2 mana for a 0/4 artifact creature wall with defender. 3 tap, target creature can't be blocked this turn. Guardian of Meletus, 3 for a 0/6 defender golem. Mask of Avacyn, 3 mana, 3 to equip, 2 mana, 3 to equip. Equip creature gets +1/+2 and has hexproof. Sanctum Plow Beast, 4 white, blue for a 3/6 artifact beast with defender. You can plane cycle it or island cycle it, allowing you to color fix if you need it. Wall of Omens, 1 and a white for a 0/4 defender wall. When it enters, draw a card. Wingmantle Chaplain, 3 and a white for a 0/3 human cleric with defender. When it enters, create a 1/1 white bird creature with flying for each creature with defender you control. Whenever another creature with defender enters, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. Stalwart Shield Bearers, 1 and a white for a 0/3 human soldier with defender. Other creatures you control with defender get +0/+2. Angelic Wall, 1 and a white for a 0/4 wall with defender and flying. Pride Guardian, 1 white for a 0/3 defender camp monk. When it blocks, gain 3 life. Slaughter the Strong, 1 white. Each player chooses any number of creatures they control with total power 4 or less. They sacrifice all other creatures they control. We're not having a lot of power on the board, so we won't have to sacrifice a whole lot while other players may have to. Getaway Glamour, 1 white with Spree, 1 exile a non-token creature, return to the battlefield under its owner's control on the beginning of the next end step, pay 2 extra, destroy target creature if no other creature has greater power. Stroke of Midnight, 2 white, destroy an online permanent, its controller creates a 1/1 white human creature token. Bar the Door, 2 white, instant, creatures you control get +0/+4 until end of turn. Murmuring Phantasm, 1 blue for a 0/5 Spirit Defender. Wall of Mist, 1 blue for a 0/5 Wall with Defender. Riptide Turtle, 1 blue for a 0/5 Turtle with Flash and Defender. Guard Gomazoa, 2 blue for a 1/3 Jellyfish with Defender and Flying. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to it. Doorkeeper, 1 blue for a 0/4 Homunculus with Defender. 2 blue, tap, target player puts the top X cards of their library into their graveyard, where X is the number of creatures with Defender you control. Fogbank, 1 blue for a 0/2 Defender Flying. When prevent all combat damage that would be dealt and to Fogbank. Disdainful Stroke, 1 blue, counter a spell with mana value 4 or greater. Negate, counters a non-creature spell for 1 blue. Wall of Air, 1 blue for a 1/5 Wall with Flying. Wall of Ice, 2 green for a 0/7 Wall. I love these old walls, by the way. These are definitely from Revised. Wall of Brambles, 2 green for a 2/3 Wall that pays a green to regenerate. Wall of Wood, 1 green for a 0/3 Wall. Assault Formation, 1 green enchantments. Creatures you control assign combat damage with their toughness rather than their power. Pay green, a creature with Defender can attack as though it didn't have Defender, and 2 green gives your creatures +0/+1 until end of turn. Axebane Guardian, 2 green for 0/3 Human Druid with Defender. Tap it to add X mana of any combination of colors where X is the number of creatures with Defender you control. Overgrown Battlement, 1 green for a 0/4 Defender Wall. Tap it for a green for each Defender you control. Wall of Blossoms, 1 green for a 0/4 Plant Wall. When it enters, draw a card, so you're just your green version of Wall of Omens. Wall of Mulch, 1 green for a 0/4 Defender Wall. Pay a green, sack a wall, draw a card. Vastward Surge, 3 green, searches for 2 basics, puts them on the battlefield tapped. If you kicked it for 4 extra, put 2 1/1 counters on each creature you control. Migration Path, 3 green, search for 2 basics, put them on the battlefield tapped. You can also cycle this if you don't need it for 2 mana. Rampant Growth, 1 green, searches for a basic, put it on the battlefield tapped. Fertile Ground, enchants a land. That land can then tap for an additional mana of any color. Explorer, 1 green, play an additional land this turn, draw a card. Utopia Sprawl, 1 green, enchants a forest. Choose a color, then the forest taps for an additional mana of the chosen color. Gatekeeper Vine, 1 green for a 0/2 plant with Defender. When it enters, search your library for basic land or gate, put it into your hand. Shower of Arrows, 2 green, destroy an artifact, enchantment, or creature with Flying, scry 1. Shoot it down, 3 green, exiles an artifact, enchantment, or creature with Flying. And then Broken Wings also destroys a creature with Flying, an artifact, or an enchantment. Into some lands, we have Skycloud Expanse, Prairie Stream, Port Town, Sungrass Prairie, Canopy Vista, Fortified Village, Frozen Verge. This one does search for a plains and a forest. Vine Glimmer Snarl, Waterlogged Grove, Yavimaya Coast, Overflowing Basin, Command Tower, Seaside Citadel, Citadel Gate. Here's your gates that you can fetch. Sea Gate, Manor Gate, and then some basic plains, islands, and forests. That's the deck. I hope you enjoyed it, but we'll see you next time.